Same as the first pick Enchantress into then reaction Mirana, we saw it the other day. It's just the fact that you can't bring the crate to the lane, and that's about it. I know teams often gravitate away from Mirana because it doesn't really provide much in the lane. You want to normally have a 4 that can be a bit more impactful. But the only scenario that it does get picked is this type of creep-enabled hero that the Mirana can counter.
Do you know, is Clockwork just getting banned because he's really good against Doom? Is that why he's getting banned? Because I feel like you see the Clockwork ban and then the Doom ban immediately following. It's not like Clockwork's a terrible hero or anything. Is he like first round ban worthy, or is it just particularly to that hero?
Yeah, a lot of teams are first phasing it just because they can put it on 3, 4, or 5. Some teams put it in like buy a couple braces offlane roll. Some teams just slap it in the 5 because you have like hook shot, flared support. So it's just a very hot hero right now. It's like Doom, Phoenix, Clockwork, Veno.
Okay, my question is, so obviously I've been playing EU pubs, and you've been like casting EU events while also being in EU. How often is it that the pub heroes are like exactly what you see in the games?
I'd say like 60% of what you see in pubs transpires over into like the comp games.
I was curious because I haven't seen too many Clockworks. I've seen a lot of Phoenix,
a lot of Phoenix.
a lot of Doom. I've seen a lot of that. I see it almost every game actually, but I was just like, I don't think I've seen too many Clockworks.
I feel like you've played competitive at some point. There's normally the heroes that you can play in a team, but you can't play in a pub, right?
Yeah.
And that clock kind of fits into that role where you don't really do much in lane, but you're more of a game. So you don't want to anger your side lane automatically with this clock pick. Like you can't pick Spirit Breaker 5 because what's he going to do in lane? But you can play the mid game very strong.
Well, look at this, right? Voldy, you guys had no faith in him at the beginning, right? You and Liz, and they first picked Clockwork both times, got away with it, and they won their games 2-0.
Yeah, it's pretty darn solid.
Paints the picture.
Oh, look, Tempo, picking up that noob Void Spirit. Again, out of all his heroes, it is like his number 1.
Mm-hmm.
It is good to see, but we did see how when they played against 5 men, didn't really transpire too much because they lacked a lot of other pieces. And again, sure, it's a good hero for one player, but the whole team needs to have, a drafter player around.
How are you thinking here, though? So you guys, we come back to this point of MOTACI maybe being the ones that are the underdogs when it comes to this matchup. How do they go mindset-wise into a game like this, knowing that this is where you end up in that potential last chance group?
Well, for them, this is like the type of tournament they should be expected to be playing in, right? Like, should they get to Immortal? Probably not. Can they get to Divine? Very much so.
Okay.
To them, they're probably looking at Tempo team as being equal, right? Like, if you look at MMR, they're probably equal, like, player to player, right? But just pedigree and name alone, Tempo kind of pips the post there. So, yeah, for them, they're probably not too downbeat about this. It's like, they should be looking to win it for sure.
So how do you feel about a team who drafts no stuns in the first round?
Not a big fan. Like, I like it normally opens up for mobile picks to be abused, like illusion heroes as well. So I like to cover it with just some type of either an instant strategy. So like Venge Drow, for example. It's like, okay, they have one single target stun, but like the lane is so good that we can maybe skirt around it. But just opening up with just purely no stuns,
it scares me a bit.
It's a big question.
It's just like, it feels like to me when you do that, it kind of pigeonholes your strategy to like, okay, we wanted one of these 3 heroes, but now we have to pick this one if we want to stun. Which then means maybe you're not getting the best lane matchups. It's just I see this Venomancer, Enchantress, and like in the game, there's so many heroes that feel good against that, like past like 10 minutes, compared to Void Spirit Mirana. Like there's very few heroes in the pool that won't die to Void Spirit Mirana. So that like really limits the rest of your draft from the opponent's perspective, right?
Yeah. But this is where for like MOTACI, I would say like a Kunkka is like the hero that completes this type of lineup, where you lack stuns, and you have a little bit early damage, but if you just bring in this Kunkka, have that boat buff, then it's like, oh, the draft now looks good because there's one hero.
Okay.
So, but it also applied to like previous patch, like the Mars would be the same thing. I think like, for example, with Bait and Dendi, you just pick him a casual Mars mid, and it's like, oh, all right, our draft, no matter what we pick, we've got it grounded by this one big, like simple team fight. So that's why I see like a Kunkka or something maybe fixing their problems.
Is it, though? Is it the safe option to go for in that sense? You're saying fixing the problems this early on?
Well, again, it's like we're talking about the draft after 2 picks, right? There's still another 3 heroes to kind of complement it out. So the Venomancer could easily be the position 5. They could put the Ench 4, and then suddenly they got stuns on side lane and an activated mid, right? Like there's a lot of ways that they can flex their draft around to make it out. So we'll see for now. Let's not get too carried away with the that lack of stun narrative.
I'm just saying. I feel like I've seen it way too many times.
No, I agree.
Well, it's like because you have no stuns, now they pick Void Spirit. You need to pick like a leash or a silence or a stun that deals with Void Spirit. And then what if they pick another hero that also needs to be stunned? And it's like every stun interacts differently too, right? Where like certain heroes are vulnerable to, like if it's an arrow, for instance, illusion heroes aren't really concerned about that, or summons heroes.
I just realized, wasn't it actually MOTACI was a team that had like no team fight bar their one offlaner, and like the reason why they didn't really do well was because they had so much emphasis on this offlane doing well. I think it was this team, and I'm seeing it in the draft as well. So maybe their just draft philosophy right now is a little bit skewed for what BSJ is mentioning. They're kind of not even touching that, and then at the end of their draft they'll go, Eureka, this is our one hero.
That was the Underlord, right?
Yeah.
When then they picked the Underlord and he had like all the team fight items.
And it was like a tide as well against
MOTACI ended up on game 1 against Bait, Vengeful Spirit, Drow, Tusk, Quap, Tidehunter. In game 2 it was Enchantress, Rubik, Spectre, Wind Ranger, and Slardar.
Oh, Slardar. Okay. But it was the Tide game against the Doom. That
and you guys questioned the Slardar when it came in at the end.
As well as yeah. So they're kind of going for that. But now they got the Tiny, a very classic 4 hero, pairs well with a Venomancer. Naturally with Veno you want to have that melee hero to be a little bit more disruptive and just tank the extra spell.
You don't think it's a chance to be mid?
Maybe. It could flex that way for sure.
I've seen so many tiny mids in my pubs. I'm just trying to use my homework of pubs. Like I think today I played 6 games, 4 of them had a tiny mid.
Oh,
like
wow.
They're all just doing like the 0 points and ult, just 4/4 running around the map,
so
kill people. So
really
that burst damage is insane. The quality of life buff on the Avalanche was pretty noticeable. I don't know if you've seen it, but they made it so it used to have like a weird cast delay on it. Like it was like a quarter of a second where if you avalanche somebody and they blinked away, they could actually get away from it. But now it doesn't work that way anymore, so it's pretty reliable to run around the map and kill people. So
I just like the fact that there is a small hero pool of mid heroes that can just be super active and kind of ignore the construct of farm and play for like a later timing, just getting levels and just being super active. Like Invoker, Batrider, Tiny, these are like the most enjoyable heroes.
It's so hard to play against too.
It's actually
like if you're trying to farm a lane and you're just like, say you got, what happens is the Tiny runs at you and you're like, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. You TP to the other side of the map and then the Tiny also TPs to the other side of the map. You're like, in that time I got 1 creep, you know, and now I'm getting avalanche tossed for 80% of my health. So they go for the Brewmaster. I'd say that's a really nice pick because the overall lack of disables means it's almost pretty reliable. He's going to get his ultimate off. And then he's also able to throw these like beefy, annoying heroes like Venomancer or Tiny, whoever's core in this case, up in the air so the rest of them can be focused. I feel like the MOTACI lineup is very annoying, but Brewmaster kind of deals with a lot of the annoyances. There's a lot of slows, a lot of AoE, but Brewmaster's ult kind of ignores that entirely.
Yeah, my fear for MOTACI right now is they don't really have a like repellent from the team fight. Like if they're holding a high ground and you see this Brew split coming or the Void Spirit Astral step into that high ground, you have no real way of like fortifying your position and taking the team fight. Like sure you might have the slows and this cute stuff, but you've got nothing to actually, hold down the fight. Like single core as well so far, Brew split, you just whirlwind the Juggernaut. Okay, cool. Now what have you got to take the fight? I think Tempo have a very scary lineup for just all out team fight aggression.
Jug is a nice lane matchup.
That is
against
true,
the Brewmaster. That's so like they started with the Enchantress Veno, very lane heavy heroes. The Jug's the good matchup against the Brew. So I could see this being like a momentum pace where because the Jug healing ward, because of the Venomancer wards, like you could potentially turn this into a pretty quick snowball. I feel like the other game they had like Ursa there's another team with a similar draft to this who I think I'm mixing them up with. Like where they have all these like this early game snowball and no tower hitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was the issue I had at both teams. I remember because like the Tidehunter was responsible for everything. We talked about that in this series. And the other draft, it was an Ursa Batrider, like Mirana. It was like all single target, no damage on towers. So in this case, if they do win the lanes, it would definitely translate to objectives being taken early, which could then result in like them being able to get items that solve their catch issues. So I like this draft a bit better, than before. But I still I think it's a big deal to say like, okay, we see them now. What like in team fights and stuff. Like if the Brewmaster goes in, it's very unlikely he's going to get bursted. all the heroes like Doom and such are already out of the pool. Okay, Quap, a natural Orchid builder that gives them some nice mobility.
Okay.
And Slark and
BSJ.
then no stuns.
Yep. Carry expert, please. Is this a good Slark game?
This is quite a nice Slark game. I feel like you're going to have a decent lane because Witch Doctor can always go for the heal. I think that's the only issue you might go deal with in this lane is just getting harassed a lot. But other than the actual toss, there's nothing you can't Dark Pact off. And their only AoE damage through your ult is pretty much the Quap. So once you get like 1 or 2 items, you pretty much never die. And Jug doesn't kill Slark. Slark kills Jug. So the matchup usually favors Slark pretty hard. So I'm going to have to go with Tempo myself for this draft.
Yeah, I just think for MOTACI, they might have that deathful potential, but I've seen Noob play against these Quaps mid. You expect Quap to be pretty alright in that matchup, but Noob normally just get a bit more regen. You're that Quelling Blade hero in the lane. Your CS going to be pretty good. It's not going to be too dangerous, and overall, just the game itself just feels too easy. You've got Brew can never get punished. Slark can't get punished. Your question is, do you have enough tower defense maybe to like mitigate these early pushes? Could you maybe lose too much map control early? But I think overall Tempo just going to outplay them at some point, and yeah, the draft is just a little bit better.
So, do you think MOTACI, though, have made an improvement on what you saw from their initial draft on that game 1 that you certainly weren't satisfied with?
Their first drafts, they had like one guy that could stand up front and then no one else. They were like, don't worry, Ty, tank it for us, brother. And it's like, he's dead. It's like, we'll die now, don't worry, bye. You know, it's like, it wasn't really fun to watch. But at least this time they've got good lanes, the ability to play up in their face, but they might just fall victim to aggressive positioning and into that Slark and into that Brew.
To be fair, like in this game, the person in front's going to be the Jug, and then the people killing are like the Tiny and the Quap. So the distribution of jobs within the team is not all on one guy, especially when you're against the Doom. So, you know, that's that makes it even harder. So I do like this draft a bit better.
A bit more well-rounded, but it's time for us to get into the game. We've got Killer, Pigeon, and Pycat to bring us the action this time around. Guys, what do you make of this all? And are you ready for this one?
I'm ready for us to stop getting 2-0s. All right, now speak to me. Master Pycat, explain this one to me. Does this look like we might get a free game series once? Because so far, every single game in this group stage has been 2-0s.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of these games, they seem to depend a lot on the draft. And usually there's been like one team's a little bit stronger, and they've usually just, they just take it 2-0. I think we're going to have to see like kind of how the game 1 goes, depending on the draft a little bit. I feel like this Tiny has some potential to kind of pop off. There's like a lot of heroes that die pretty easily, like the Bottom, the Slark, and the Witch Doctor. But he has to have a pretty good game, and he is a position 4, so kind of see how that goes.
And also in terms of like, I want to say like team caliber, I'd say in a lot of ways, like you can see these guys, you know, we are familiar with a lot of the players in this lobby. Also, they're familiar with each other. Like you look on the Dire side, this is basically Hippomaniacs version 2.0, right? Like this is, I think, 3 members of that squad. And then when you look at the Radiant side, you're talking about LeBron, DNZ, Mitch. These are people that play together for years in stacks.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I played against Mitch, like, you know, like, he played Dota 1 too, right? He's, I mean, he's played Dota for, I don't know, like, 12 years, 13? I'm not sure. But that guy's been around for a really long time.
There's a little bit of mischief that's going on in the bot lane here. Corella, he cannot afford to go down. He's burned the Fairy Fire and the South. He will get away, but they might just dive this. There it is.
Yeah, I feel like that's just... Like, this is really bad for the Slark. Starting out like this, when you're forced to skill pounce. I mean, it's not the end of the world because you're against the Venom Man, so you're probably not going to go hit him that much, but you waste all your regen and you're still dying. It's a rough start.
I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron ends up just like focusing on maybe Voodoo Restoration in this lane to try and keep you sustained.
Yeah, nah, it makes sense. I mean, like, going for kills against this lane doesn't make that much sense. Potentially, once they get like a couple levels, the Venom could be in trouble, but it depends on how much pressure they can.
It's one of those awkward attrition lanes, right? Like, oh, okay, we jump on the Venom, we don't kill him, Senny just walks over with Nature's Attendant, heals him up.
Yeah, I mean, Slark just wants his creeps, right? That's all he wants.
I guess maybe the most interesting lane, like, I feel like the one that's probably going to set the tempo in this game is going to be out the mid, right? Because this is 2 playmaking mids.
Yeah.
Right. The voice-pro.
I mean, this is like I mean, it's not the old Quap versus Puck matchup, which now is just like really Puck favored, I think. But you know, this is one of the new school, like seemingly kind of even mid matchups.
No, definitely. And also voice-pro being the most recent hero, right? It's like one of those situations where you go, yeah, this is a classic build for this hero. And what you mean is like 3 months ago. Meanwhile, bot lane, Tipek, it looks like he's going to get out scot-free with this. Nice kill under the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, I think you don't really care that much. He did opt to go for the Melodic though on the Witch Doctor, which is, well, we're gonna kind of see how that plays out.
Definitely Jabait himself a little bit with that. I mean, I guess it's okay to go for the 1-1-1 build at level 3. Usually you want that second level in the Maledict or the Cask, but I think you're gonna need it.
We see a switch up now. They're bringing the bottom, just so he can air hopefully the creeps from the Enchantress.
Yeah, important one to get rid of as well, because that's the regen from the Satyr, which would make your disadvantage kind of insurmountable at this stage.
Yeah, you're not going to comment on the bottom?
No, dude, I don't want to touch that one, okay?
I gave you a free there.
Alright, you know what, like, I'm casting with you here, and I'm not going to lie, I saw Mirana and Brewmaster come out in the draft, and I kind of had flashbacks to Sing Sing days. You know the ones.
Oh my.
Right, Pedro?
Yeah. Sí, señor.
Hey, you want to go that way with the whole cast?
We're not going there. Not yet. Not yet.
Oh yeah, that's if we get a catastrophic like 2-hour game and you're just shaking in your seat, going crazy.
You didn't want that.
I mean, speaking of that, like this game, it feels as if could end very quickly from either side, right? Because like there's a lot of mid-game volatility. I want to say it's not like you've got these classic end game scenarios out like, you know, the Void or the Spectre. You've got fast kind of fighting type carries and cores alongside it.
Yeah, I mean this game could definitely swing like really quickly. I think like if MOTACI get off to a somewhat decent start, I could definitely see them kind of just roll with this, like pushing with the Veno and the Jug Healing Ward. Like Slark, he kind of needs some time to come online, so if they get off to a decent start, I could definitely see them just kind of roll with this.
I'm not gonna lie, I think Crylight feels a bit offline at this point.
He's not happy right now. I can tell you that much. You know, bottom 3 net worth. If this was a pub game, you know, he might have broken his items by now.
Hey, if this was your pub game, would you have broken your items? Okay, maybe not. Actually, if that happens in the mid, maybe you have hopes all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not an item breaker.
Oh, okay. I'm glad we cleared that one up. Yeah. But would you immediately just stick music on really loudly and just ignore everyone else in the game?
Yeah, I mean, minus the music, probably, yeah. I'd probably just, you know, ignore them anyway. The mute button is the best friend.
I chase on a mid, just gonna get away before. Yeah. I think we're getting a little bit close to that item breaking situation. I mean, right now, Noob just has to be sitting and go, okay, I need to fix everything right now. I need to, like, he's probably reassuring Slark. He's like, I'll come down by the 10-minute mark. Okay, we'll make a kill happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, sometimes when you have these games, then, like, people just, they kind of count you out, right? And then they forget about the Slark, you know, like, it's fine. He got ruined in the laning stage. And then you just forget about it. And then, you know, like, 10 minutes later, he's back.
That's true. And it's all, like, in the team environment, it's all that kind of that acceptance that if you're winning all 3 lanes, something's gone seriously wrong. Like, that should never happen. Someone has to kind of be thrown under the bus. And, you know, Slark is a hero that can catch up later. You can get revenge further down the line.
Yeah, I'm curious if maybe potentially, like, if Tempo should have been doing something, like, they could have put the Slark bottom.
Well, they're doing something now. Slark is happy.
Yeah, I mean, they could have put the Slark top potentially against the Jug. But yeah, nice rotation.
I guess it was also a case, like, this really does come down to the runes and how much regen he had to use to escape, still dying afterwards. Like, if it's not for that, this isn't as tragic of a laning situation, I want to say.
It probably is not as bad, but the thing is, it's still, like, there's 2 range heroes. They're kind of just sitting there hitting you in the face, and there's not really anything you can do about it. Like, you need to be able to go on them. You could potentially bring 3 heroes to bottom, like, just have the bottom run around here too, but...
Yeah, it seems more like DNZ is interested around the mid area because they do have that pretty potent combo. We've already seen it work out against the co-op of the Remnant into Arrow. So.
Yeah. At the same time, though, like the Brew is having a good time. The Void Spirit, I mean, he's having a good time, even though it's just a one-on-one. So I don't think they're not very unhappy right now.
No, and to be honest, the Void Spirit can actually very easily be the key in this game. You can see he's already queued up the Ags, and it is one hell of a good Ags game, right? Like the Jug can easily be screwed over by that. The Queen of Pain will be forced into a Yules, which stops you from going for the almost necessary aggressive Orchid plays.
Yeah, for sure. The Witch Doctor, he has a lot of levels on this Witch Doctor already. It's already level 5.
That's true. He'll say that he's been busy babysitting, not leeching. Oh, they missed the pounce. They're trying to do the damage. The arrow is going to be a bit of a whiff. Senny's being brought low. He's on level 6, but it's not good enough. And now Krylat tries to move away. But Manboss, he turns on SingStar, and he shows why he gets an S-Star rain.
Yeah, some not very clean execution there. And the Witch Doctor Slark combo.
No, it almost feels like every time they're doing this, they're just flipping a coin on whether the third cast bounce rather comes back for a second stun.
Yeah, he kind of just whiffed the pounce, I think.
Well, Noob's already down here again. He says, okay, once it's not enough. Slark is screaming in my ear right now. We'll bring basically the whole team in. I mean, this is... You gotta be happy if you're on the dire side here, right? Because you're just baiting all the attention of tempo towards this bot lane. Maybe you're gonna die.
Like, you can really see at this point how tilted this Slark is, you know? Like, that's such an easy pounce to hit.
Oh yeah, and maybe you get the kill, but what's going to be the prize? I mean, Muff, they might be able to get him too. In the meantime, they're going to tick out a few heroes here. Witch Doctor and Slark both go down, and Marana dies alongside him. All right, so what I'm hearing here, Pycat, is in the post-game discussion, if this doesn't go the way of tempo, they're going to be asking Slark to maybe be a bit more quiet next time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you're having one of these games, like, all you can really do is just, you know, like, just chill, you know? Just, like, go hit some neutral creeps or whatever. Just take it easy.
True, you got to be tactful about it, right? Like, you just got to kind of, you know, squint your eyes a little bit and go, soon.
Yeah, just, you know, keep your head down and just hit some neutral creeps.
I mean, your time should come as well, because we already said Voice Spirit doing well, and I mean, it's a Brewmaster, right? You're going to have a kind of a one-up, I want to say, in the team fight around that 10-20 minute mark, because yes, we did just see a really good ultimate from Venno, but it's not often that we say level 1 Poison Nova does the big work.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's gonna be like, if he gets off to, you know, like, if he manages to get some levels and stuff, this is gonna be a really good start game, so kind of just have to see if he can pull it together.
Of course, given the keys to their own jungle a little bit early here, as Dire's pushing on the bot lane, we'll be able to take down that tier 1 already. And it looks like they did bring Mitch in. He's going to try and avoid using that split, but he might be forced to at this rate, as the cast split will come out straight away. And Muff might just walk away. Instead, they decide to go in. They say, no, we're going to fight this. LeBron, such a vulnerable target, gets brought down instantly. Tipback able to escape in the tree line. And Mitch, at this point, I think you wish you could just pull the R key off your keyboard. And actually, they might pull him off the map. They're going to just chase him down. Senny's machine gunning out with the impetuses right now. Muff is getting close enough. Avalanche. Toss follow-up. The dust reveals him, which means they're going to get a kill onto the Brewmaster as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a support Enchantress, right? This is the...
I think so. I'm not entirely sure at this point. Well, they're going to treat it like a core and give it the respect it deserves. But Manboss, throws out the Sonic Wave. Senny should die off to the Witch Doctor in the end, and it looks like they'll get everyone out. DNZ, Miracle actually got out of that in one piece in the end.
Yeah, they managed to get the kill on the edge. Goes the Witch Doctor. Free Bracer. And now we finally see like the Slarkies moving up top, but at this point, you know, like this matchup between Jogger and Slark, it's kind of fine for Slark early on, especially since there was a tiny support up there. But at this point, when the Jog is already, he's level 9 with, you know, he has some Iron Talon and some Claymore Face Boots. The Slark, he just can't fight him because he's way too low. But otherwise, you wouldn't really mind sitting in a lane, you know, just trading some hits with the Jog, because you can always jump away from the spin.
Yeah, and it's the case of you can kind of feel that imminent need to pressure the Jug a bit, because you already know what he's going for. He's picked up the Claymore, you know the Battle Fury is coming. And you're going to see Krylat you know, Midas is the right call here. He knows he's playing catch up. There's no sort of, if I just get a quick defusal, I can start to storm across the map situation.
Yeah, he has to catch up somehow. I mean, whether that's through... at this point, it does seem like pretty much the only option is hitting creeps and kind of just relying on his team being able to hold them off for, you know, the next 15, 20 minutes, whatever long he's going to need.
Of course, the rough part about holding them off is that Tippek has got this build focused on the Plague Wards, which means they are definitely pressuring these tier 1s early on and pretty heavily.
Yeah, we see the push with the Enchantress and the Venomancer. And now they've also just given this... This is something I like. Like, you're able to give this Tiny just a free lane down here. He's just going to sit kind of, you know, like, he can shove this a little bit, and otherwise he's just kind of close to his tower, and it's just... He's getting so much farm right here. And with this blink, it's going to allow them to play the game so much easier, because it's really hard for them. Like, they don't really have any reach right now until the Tiny gets blinked. You know, Pop can blink in, but you don't really want to put yourself in that position against some of these heroes.
Yeah, it's that confidence play, right? If Queen of Pain is going in, she sure as hell needs to have someone to follow up or already be there. And when you look at the rest of these heroes, none of them tick that box.
Yeah, no, they need someone to start the fight. It's going to be the Tiny.
You know, on the other side, you know, Mirana, she can supplement her gold a little bit, but it barely feels like it's worth it with the arrows. Instead, they're trying to go for kills. Straight on to Seni, it's going to fail. That is a rough moment. They'll just keep eyes on them. So they don't know that everyone on the side of Tempo is in the top lane, which means that Tiny's going to continue to free farm in the bot lane. This should also mean that Tippet can start to apply more pressure to the tier 1 mid, which will open up the map and make Tempo definitely feel a lot more exposed.
Yeah, I think MOTACI are really happy with the way things are right now.
I mean, you have to be, right? The Jug's definitely ahead of the slot. You've got this Queen of Pain that is actually going to continue to kind of be the pacemaker in the mid game. And then once Veno... I feel like Veno is always this hero that maybe, like, what, between level 8 and 12, he doesn't really do much but kind of farm and push. But once he gets that level 2 Poison Nova, all of a sudden you have to eliminate at the beginning of every fight.
Yeah, and I mean, what this is also like the Veno, he just... I mean, these wards, they're so annoying to fight into.
Okay, well, nice cast bounce. Tippet gets brought down. They do lose the tower. But that was always going to happen. As you were saying, with all these Plague Wards going down, it's a bit hard for them to actually do anything about that. But a cheeky move from LeBron to yoink a kill.
Yeah, he caught an arrow, the Veno, and then they kind of just followed up with some Maledict into Death Ward action.
And let's see, actually Muffs are very close to that blink dagger already. We're probably going to see about a 16-minute blink. And then I expect, now with that tier 1 gone as well, that's where they just start to invade. They'll play off like this deep ward they've just placed in the Radiant's primary jungle.
Yeah, they could kind of just, you know, set up camp down here and play around with the Tiny and the Quap, and, you know, try to go towards these tier 2s on either bottom or mid and kind of just control this whole bottom area. Because the thing is, at this point, Tempo don't really have any potential to kill Roche. The heroes just can't. So,
well, I was going to ask, like, what's the thing that they can focus on killing? Is it really just this Veno you have to target each time?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of want to set up, like, they definitely want to be able to kind of go in towards this mid tower at some point and try to pressure there, but it's really difficult because they just need to set up some snakes. And so I think what they can do, like, they have a bit better reach, so what they can do is try to, you know, like this right here in the mid lane.
Oh.
Set up on the Quap.
Thumbs up on the Quap. Follow-up looks good, and she's just gone. They do force the TP rotations as well, which will alleviate any concerns about the top lane. So Tempo, yeah, they don't get the tier 1 tower, but they can now maybe apply some pressure top.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know how much tower damage they can and want to do at this point. Like, Slark doesn't really want to be standing in the lane and hitting towers just in case, you know, they don't know Tiny's blink is right now flying in, Quap's about to respawn, and she has Orchid, so they don't really want to hit towers too much unless it's very clear. They more so they just want kills. They just want to, like, they see heroes on the map and they run there and they go in and out. You know, all of these heroes, they're kind of elusive. Slark has Pounce, there's Bottom with a leap, there's the Void Spirit with his ult, so they kind of just want to go in and out, get some kills, and then reset, go back to farming.
Yeah, it would be fair to say that... Mirana might be a bit caught here. DNZ will be brought down. He was pushing with the catapult. But the thing I was going to highlight is, like, for them, it's a case of what you're hitting on is it's not kill objective, it's kill by time, right? It's just all about how much we can prolong the game so that we can get the Slark back into the fray.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, at some point, Slark will still be, like, the strongest hero in this game. But they have to get there first.
Enough? I mean, if they hit him one more time, they get him low enough. And, okay, no longer is that the case. The healer will be able to heal up. But this fight is split now. Sending a little bit of trouble. Once again, that Death Walk going down. Nobody is addressing the LeBron factor in these fights. So it should scare them off. They will get the kill on the Brewmaster. They'll turn around, do a LeBron now, and bring him down. And all of a sudden, it's going to be Tempo on the run trying to escape. Mambos does call Krylax escape in the tree line. They do still see him trying to keep on top of him. He's able to move away just in time for the moment. Yules comes out, nicely done from Noob to save the day and ensure that Mark cannot get a kill. That kill will still occur. Mambos, he hunts forward, he finds the Slark. All of a sudden, Tempo just forced back into their own base.
Yeah, the Slark is still... He's one sad Slark at this point.
That's one way of putting it. I think he's just... They're right now they're going, yo, Slark, dog, when you going to be online? He's like, sometime next game. Meanwhile, speaking of people who are going to be online soon, Kari already has that Battle Fury course. End towards the Yasha, Sanj, and then if you get to the Heaven's Halberd stage, I'm not liking the Slark's fighting odds at that stage.
No, I like when you're this far behind. The thing is also at this point, Jug farms so much faster than you. Like, the matchup is supposed to be that, Slark can kind of take control of the map, and Jug is not supposed to want to run around too much and show. But at this point, it's like, it's almost impossible for them to kill this Juggernaut. Like, they have nothing to cancel the spin TP, and they just don't have enough damage to be able to kill him. So he can kind of just run around and farm as much as he wants.
And in that regard, like the other pacemaker, the secondary pacemaker, there's two possibilities. It was going to either be the Void Spirit or the Brewmaster. And so far, Mitch hasn't really had a shining start to this game. We saw the Whiff ult bot. We saw him die in multiple fights before he could even get it off, actually. Who's setting this pace? Because I feel like even Void Spirit, his next item, Ags, by the time he has that, Jug's probably going to be able to get his hands on a Manta.
Yeah, it does look like Jug queued up the SNY, but I think that, it kind of has to be the Void Spirit still. I feel like he's the one who's supposed to run around and make all these plays, but he feels like he has to farm because the Slark is so poor. But I think he's the one who has to run around and kind of try to set up kills with his Yules.
Yeah, and they're reluctant to even set up a kill on the Sunny at this stage.
Yeah, like they're too afraid, right? They see this one Ench, there's like 3 heroes showing on the bottom lane, and they're still spooked of killing this Ench. Because she is kind of tanky with the power treads, and she has to heal. And they don't want the ports to come in and just counter.
Well, I mean, she's not going to get easy to kill as well. She's now got the 4 stuff coming out, so... All of a sudden, it was kind of starting to feel like Tempo. When you look at the control, the lockdown, it's all focused on usually one target, right? Like, you're going to have the opening from Void Spirit, and then usually you're looking at the follow-up arrow. Whereas, when I look on the other side, you got this Tiny who, a little bit off the mark there with the Avalanche, but he himself can actually lock down an entire area with those Avalanches.
Yeah, it's, at this point, like, when you're this far behind, I would say, then it's kind of easy, like if this game is even, I would say that it's kind of easy for this Tempo lineup to be able to run around and do what they want to most of these heroes. But now they're getting kind of pushed back too. It's like they're not able to clear waves as fast as this MOTACI lineup. Like the Juggernaut, he can just run from camp to camp and lane to lane and just shove everything out. And they're gonna have to deal with these creeps, and then they run into snakes from the Venomancer. And so it's not the easiest thing for them to just run around and find kills.
That's true. Because like even in that situation, right, like the counter argument is, oh well, the enemy's ahead, each kill is worth more. But it's that fact they feel so gated right now, right? Like if you look at where they've been moving constantly for the last few minutes, we've rarely ever seen them skirmish into the dire side of the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're also afraid. Like you can see this top tier 2. I don't know if you can see this. Like the HP, this top tier 2, it's almost full. And they haven't even taken the mid tier 1 yet. They've only been able to take the tier 1 top. And it's just, they can't show up at towers. They can't stand at towers because they don't have tower damage. So they can't stand there hitting anything because they'll be attacked by like Venomancer wards, and it's also so easy to set up on them if they're showing, if there's vision on them. So that's why they just need to resort to just running around and trying to get kills on these heroes, but most of them are getting pretty tanky at this point.
Enough. Turns out DNZ is too tanky to deal with there, and he needs to be careful himself. Gets netted up, they move in, arrow comes down to the Tiny, and they're trying to bring him down quick enough. They'll dash away just in time, but he will tick down. They want to make sure that they did not expose themselves to a big poison nova. It's like that run around the map finally paid off. It just required MOTACI to be the ones to try and initiate.
Yeah, and I feel like this is what you want. Like, the one thing I don't like is that the Slark he's like running towards this top lane, trying to join the fight. Like, when this happens, what they need to do is they just need to run out, you know, like leave everyone who is low, or just ditch heroes, and then just push out the lanes. Go bottom with Slark, or go mid, push this, and push the bottom. You don't wanna fight them. You don't wanna get dragged into these type of fights. It's just in and out. Get the one kill, and then you're gone. You forced a bunch of ports, and now you have a map to play.
That's true. I guess the other like side to it that like was shown there is this setup time for MOTACI, right? Because they're relying on this Venomancer to give them that area, which is why playing towards top is so logical. Because if you try and actually defend mid at all, you're already hitting on how the Plague Wards are doing a lot of work here. So maybe that's the weakness you have to expend. Is the biggest point to like highlight here is that for MOTACI, they kind of have to move around as 5, whereas Tempo should just be able to split the map and buy a lot more time, really.
I mean, MOTACI, the Juggernaut, he can do anything he wants, right? The other heroes, they wanna be somewhat together. The Quap wants to play with the Tiny, and the Veno, he's also somewhat of a free agent just because he can play around his snakes, and he's not too scared if someone goes on him. There's usually some sort of retaliation.
That's true. I guess the point I'm trying to hit on is like Tempo have maybe a bit more fluidity to their movement, right? Like, you know, Slark's very mobile, Mirana's able to escape from a pinch, Void Spirit, don't have to explain that one.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at MOTACI, you know, you kind of slowly push in his Jug, or especially for the Veno, he needs time to set up his safe zone.
Right.
But turns out Roche was safe enough for MOTACI to take, and now all of a sudden you probably will just see this map shrink quickly. It's just a case of tempo. Can they get enough out of this map in time to have someone new to fight with? Because it feels like a while since we've actually been waiting for that Axe to come out. It'll finally be there. Noob now has it. This could be the thing that catches them off guard, because, you know, Curry, he didn't decide to go back and like disassemble the Sanjin Yash at all. He did stick that way, which means that he is at risk to these silencers.
We're gonna see if they're able to kill him once he gets the spin off.
They actually go for the silence first. He just lets them get the spin, and they'll look to just TP away. Maybe just hesitant because they know they're likely together in that area.
It's also, I feel like they don't really want to go on the Jug anyways. He has the H's. He's very, very tanky. He has, 21, it's 2k HP. It's difficult to bring this guy down.
Yeah, so maybe they're just trying to like force a reaction and then fight away from him, which, out of the heroes on their side, Void Spirit is definitely the hero that can do that, right? You can't try and Omni Slash this guy.
Yeah, I like the idea of what this Mirana is doing. He has the Meteor Hammer, and he can clear some creeps, he can deal some damage to towers on his own.
Trying to bring down Noob here. I'll look to dash away the Astral Step, just about gets out, but Queen of Pain is hunting. She has to use the BKB, doesn't throw out the Sonic Wave in time. Instead, LeBron just stands his ground with a Death Warp, buys enough time for his teammates to retreat, but there's no way he's getting out of this easily. Not when Kari arrives as well, they'll be able to bring him down. They ain't falling for these Shadow Amulet mischievous behaviors. All right, these are pro players. They know how to buy dust, sentries, and should probably learn how to do that at some point.
Yeah, but this wasn't terrible for Tempo, I would say. They got the tier 2 bottom. The Slark is getting some space. They only lost the Witch Doctor, and the Quap had to use BKB, and it's a little bit awkward for MOTACI to, push it too much now with the Quap BKB on CD. But they still have the Aegis on Jug, so it looks like they're just gonna keep hitting.
Yeah, especially with the Catapult coming in. You don't abandon this push just yet. Really, the other thing that they've got to be concerned about their tempo is that they don't have double Astral Step, right? So they can't even try and quick wave clear this.
That courier, that was very awkward.
Yeah, Kryla almost got a second one there. He'll TP back now. But that just confirmed him MOTACI that he wasn't there just yet. The sun's going to come out, hits onto a lot of heroes, but there's just no damage here. We'll try and go in now. Krylat straight forward on a Mambos, but BKB's back off cooldown now, and all of a sudden they're in a little bit of trouble and need to retreat. The spin in, DNZ is going to be forced to pounce away, and now the Death Ward going down. LeBron looking for a kill, trying to get rid of Tiny quickly. It will actually be able to do the work. He brings him down, LeBron trying to move away. Nice for him now to control Juggernaut, that Sonic Wave through. Arrow, not even need, can actually bring him down in time. Queen of Pain is gone, they're going to turn around to Tipek now and bring him down as well. And all of a sudden you're running out of heroes on the side of MOTACI. This push may have been premature. Mitch trying to move away, Curry's still healthy. Everyone but the Juggernaut is dead. And now they can turn around, try and get rid of this Aegis and maybe get rid of the owner. Omni Slash will come out. On the mini one, rather. Not good enough, though. And the arrow does get sidestepped, though, because he's fast enough. Mitch just trying to move away because the Swift Flash is coming off cooldown in a few seconds. Remnant control is good. They should be able to burn at least one life. It's just a question of whether they've got the damage for the second.
He did waste a spin right there.
He did. And the Meteor Hammer's coming. Plump into his face. They have got a Remnant for out, but there's going to be another quick flash. Just trying to actually buy enough time to move away and get the healing ward down. He needs trees. He needs them right now. It looks like he might be able to get away with this, yeah. Noob hasn't got any mana left. All in all, though, I mean, if you're MOTACI, you're going to be kicking yourself a little bit. You did get the lane, but you probably gave away more than you wanted to.
Yeah, it was not super clean execution. But still, you see the Jug, he's, you know, almost 5k, 4.5 ahead of the second highest net worth. So he's getting big.
He is a slightly small boy. And I guess the thing for Tempo is, you know, can you get out quickly and maybe get some vision out on the map? Because like, this is your breathing moment, right? This is your moment of space before they come again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're all just going to hit creeps, that's a bit worrying.
If they want the Slark to get his BKB, his Curry is kind of...
Yeah, well, Curry.
This could be very big.
Sans comes out, and here's the play. This is the thing that you can actually punish Juggernaut for. His build is so greedy that he has no sort of protection against that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're hunting for more. Tiny found in the tree line. Yours galore, and the Remnant will come out to ensure that he shouldn't be able to get away. The 4-staff won't save the day. Avalanche try and buy some time. Manboss has the Sonic Wave in 5 seconds, but Krylat will use the Shadow Dance to move away before you reach that awkward point. Oh, he's... No. Krylat, come on. It's just a courier. All right. You had to be careful with this lad. I know he likes to kill him. And Tipek... Oh, no. We've all had this feeling before. You look at your Queen of Pain, your Anti-Mage, any hero with a bling, you're kind of upset. But it looks like Krylat's not able to seal the deal and instead has to move away himself. And that makes me wonder, would Tempo get a lot more money out of this if they just hit the tower?
Yeah, I think what they want to do is they just want to force this glyph. They just want to be able to just stand and hit the tower and then go hit some creeps. Getting this Jug kill is very, very big.
Yeah, it's been much needed as well, because all of a sudden Krylat is starting to look like a little bit of a hero, right? Like net worth wise, he's catching up. He's slowly closing the Jug. It's still a pretty big lead to kind of close, but with the BKB next on the hit list, that should be the point where he can kind of start to maybe assert dominance in these fights.
Yeah, once he gets the BKB, I could see him go into bash or just some damage after that. And at that point, he's going to be very strong. I think Roche will be the next kind of big thing that happens here. It's interesting to see whether or not this Jug kind of wants to go into a BKB or disassemble this SNY and go into a Manta. I feel like you should be a little bit concerned about having this happen to you again, where the Void Spirit just silences you and you're out.
Yeah, it's kind of the worry. It's not like you've got this hard save. Someone is going to just, you know, make sure that you can play this grid. It's not like you've got an Oracle, a Shadow Demon, something along those lines. The closest save you've got is an Enchantress standing next to you with Nature's Attendant.
Yeah, I feel like a Lotus Orb potentially on, you know, the Ench or the Venomancer would have been a very nice tool.
Smoke. Krylat did scout them, but you realize they are clustered up. So it looks like Tempo going for the wide wraparound, trying to catch them on the retreat. And look who it's going to be again. Oh, Curry. Oh, dear. They're going to cook you like a curry here. Be able to bring him down easily. He's trying to stand his ground. No, he gets out of range, though. And all of a sudden, Krylat chasing him, looking pretty greedy here. They do get rid of the healing ward. They're going to force out the split. Mitch just trying to control him up. BKB comes out from Amber, so all of a sudden Krylat has to leave. We'll get out of the range of the Poison Over just in time. The Cyclone not bringing down Curry in time to get hit by the arrow. Instead, they do find Tiny on the side. Flash across by Curry, just trying to get the kill into LeBron. LeBron going to be brought low and will be brought down. And Krylat, he turns around, he goes on the Queen of Pain. The Sonic Wave is a whiff. It completely misses. Buyback comes out from the Witch Doctor in the meantime, and Senny trying to back away. It's going to be a split slash again, but Curry now needs to actually get out of here. Look for the Krylat target, but it looks like Slark's moving away quick enough. The Silence comes out as well in the meantime, and Juggernaut trying to run. The net's going to be there. The Remnant follow as well. Nope. Going to dodge out the damage. He tries to dodge out the return, and Curry goes for the spin TP out, but it will not be successful. Only one walking away from this, not in a body bag, is Tipek, and he slivers away slowly. And looks like some sort of levy is going to be had on the side of MOTACI here, because that should be at least a tier 2, if not more, fallen.
Yeah, and now we can see the issue with this Juggernaut's build. It's very easy for him to, you know, just one silence and then he can't do much.
It kind of reminds you of those games where your carry builds 2 Daeluses, a Divine Rapier, and then tells you if everyone else is dead, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I mean, he's expecting his team to be able to save him, but he's also running around a bit too much alone. If he's with his team, this won't really happen, but when he is running around like that, then disaster.
It was well read by Tempo, though. Like, you saw it, right? Krylat went in the high ground. He's like, okay, they're all clustered, but we've smoked. We need value, so they just go for that wide wraparound and gamble on what they're going to get. I guess they probably didn't expect it to be the most valuable target on their opponent's team. Like, maybe you find one of the supports. You don't expect to find the Juggernaut just strolling through the river blind like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was definitely the best thing they could have hoped for.
And they might find more. Silence comes out on the noob. He's so goddamn tanky now with this Sanjkar build. I was wondering if he was going to eventually, like, change these into maybe something like a Heaven's Halberd, but he might just keep it in that state. It's a lot of regen. DNZ, he phased them in. Moth may regret this now. Mitch, brought down to half HP. We'll get the split out now, and they'll just chase on through. Tiny's going to fall. Looks like they're going to lose the Juggernaut again at this rate. Stunned up, tries to spin away. One more hit will do it, and he's gone. 85 seconds on the sideline, and it looks like they're just going to run them through one by one. And all of a sudden, I mean, Tempo, they were ready to leave your face. They were playing the tempo, but all of a sudden, that tempo is just revved up to 10. They're going to go straight for the throne.
Yeah, I think this is just done. I think, I feel like this is a game that they clearly had this game, and they kind of just fumbled the execution. I think the item choice on the Juggernaut, and also whether it's him running around alone or, you know, it's his team not being where they're supposed to be, is, you know, you can debate that, but you can't really, when you're the highest net worth by that margin, you can't afford to just back-to-back die twice and